Welcome back to the Movie Marathon Men. I'm Owen Garner.
And I'm Luke Carr.
And we watch movies that make us go, mmm. Today we're doing the final video in this Saga Wars series. We've been looking at Mad Max. Today, it's Mad Max Fury Road. I think, fittingly for these videos, we've sort of looked more and more bedraggled as the day's gone on. We've slipped into the apocalypse ourselves.
I started quite bedraggled as well. So.
It's just we're sort of outwardly reflecting what we're feeling on the inside.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I've really enjoyed being dressed like this all day. It's like when I became obsessed with cowboy stuff, and that became my personality for a summer.
Yeah.
This is it's biker gang Owen from now on again.
See, I'm not looking forward to you becoming an immortal vampire when we next film Twilight. So.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm just going to be wearing like glitter constantly. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go into our opening impressions of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
A film that we both know, that we both love.
Yeah, it can't be a surprise that I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this film so much together in the past, just because it's a film that we've wanted to.
It's one of the best action films ever. If I'm going by my opinion, it could be the best action film ever.
I think so. It could be.
Because people will say there's not a huge amount of plot. The characters are not as fleshed out as you might expect from like other films.
Yeah.
But then you could argue that like a rom-com doesn't have enough explosions. Because the point is, there's an action film.
Yeah.
It can't hit every single metric of media. The things you want from an action film, it just delivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. I mean, it's great. It's our Max, but with new depth. So there's a bit more. He's a more interesting and more compelling lead in this. There's clearly more of a history there, which is weird because this is kind of a reboot.
Yeah, I don't believe there's an official timeline here.
No.
But I'm basing this on the Furiosa trailers that say 45 years after the collapse. And that would make Mad Max like 80.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy doesn't necessarily look young for his age.
No.
But he doesn't look 50 years older for his age.
Yeah. People have said that Fury Road is the Mad Max movie that he wanted to make. This is so clearly an artist's vision fully actualized.
Yep.
It is beautiful from start to finish. Every element, the sound editing, the pictures, the special effects, the acting, the costumes, all of it is incredible. The story structure works so well. It has all of those elements that we feel are synonymous with Mad Max, and it does all of them perfectly.
Yeah, I think that
it just doesn't miss.
I've got that. Yeah, it
just doesn't miss.
Unlike some of the characters that miss occasionally, but
not often.
Not often. They hit all the time. Everything.
The death rate is high.
The death rate's high.
Yeah.
My heart rate was high.
Yeah.
My scores are going to be high.
Yeah.
It's there's not a lot to say, to be honest, in what you said.
No, I mean,
you've referenced every element of a film.
Yeah.
I
have already.
It's perfect.
Straight out of the gate. So
and
thanks for watching, guys. No, but I mean, we watched this together yesterday as a treat. We'd watched the first 3 as first-time watchers for this series, and then we were like, oh, I haven't watched Fury Road yet. Have you watched Fury Road? I struggle to say Fury Road quickly.
Try it in an Australian accent.
Fury Road, mate.
There you are. The slips out.
None of them are like happy, chirpy, stereotypical Aussies.
No, in this film they're not. Because they're not Australians, really, are they? Most of them.
No, some are, but like the British thing of Australians is so like what we get annoyed at Americans for when they go, top of the morning to you and a cup of tea. And we go like, God, that's so annoying. Oh, stick another dingo on the Barbie. And it's like, we're just as bad.
Yeah.
But we do it to Australians.
Yeah, which is fine. But yeah, in this film, Nicholas Hoult is just kind of normal, but occasionally just kind of goes, road.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy doesn't speak. And also, he doesn't even know what he sounds like.
Yeah, he's sort of... Yeah, he sort of mumbles everything. You can hear him, though.
You can hear him, yeah.
Which, in some of his films, you can't.
Yeah.
Christian Bale in Terminator Salvation, he is Christian Bale by that point, so he's allowed to be inaudible.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom Hardy is like, who's this guy?
You
Like,
must
he's
have
done a few
loved
things.
The Dark Knight Rises. Just hearing.
I've never seen it.
If you not,
Nope.
it is Batman going and Bane going.
Yeah. I've only written a few notes
I've
because
written like 4 words.
because
And 2 of them are Fury Road.
there's a beautiful opening. After a quick recap, we're straight into the action. They again, this film sets itself up as like you can just come in here,
Jump in here. And
which obviously
most people did. I think
we did, and most people have done. Most people watching these videos, I'm assuming, will have done that as well. So you have that quick recap, and yet you're straight into the action. And then you were saying last night that you oftentimes get thrown straight into the action, and then they talk at you for ages.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
But this is it. There is that moment at the beginning of the film. You have the big opening.
Yep.
Mad Max flies at the screen. The title card, not the character. Although he does that as well, actually.
Yep.
Getting choked up just thinking about it. Oh, dear. Oh, beautiful.
He just loves this film so much.
And then Charlize Theron walks and it focuses on the back of her neck and she's branded. Oh,
Yeah.
That makes you cry as well.
I love all of the...
But it's that bit's quiet.
Yeah.
She's walking, you go, yeah, you're right. We're going to settle in. We're going to settle in now where they establish the world and they talk about where they all are. Max is going to try and escape slowly throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah.
And then the action scene's going to be in 40 minutes or so. But like 3 minutes later, they're blowing stuff up again.
Yeah.
And Max is there as well.
Yeah, and he's running and
It just doesn't stop.
The thing that you mentioned about the brand there, it's really interesting because all of the marks on people in this film tell us something. So Furiosa has that brand. She is owned. Max is tattooed and the things on his back are just his stats.
Yeah.
It's universal donor, things like that. And they all come back into it. All of these things, there is so much planting and payoff.
Yeah.
And on
Quite
the
a
note
lot of planting.
But on the note of planting and payoff, the planting and payoff of the boot. Now, if you've been watching these videos in sequence, if you've been watching them back to back, you've been looking at this boot and thinking, what are they on about? Well, now our Fury Road, it's the payoff.
We've been talking for so long. This was actually a seed in the first Mad Max.
It was, yeah. So, story, what have you given it, Luke?
So this is a difficult one, actually, because it doesn't matter. I've given it an 8, but I don't think it really matters.
For me, I have given it a 10.
Yeah.
I gave it all of my ratings very, very quickly. You might know what they are already. I give it a 10, and I think the story, okay, so the plot, very simple. They go in a straight line one way and then a straight line another.
Yeah.
Basically. And that's the sort of pitch meeting version of this film. Again, there's that economy of story. Everything that is on screen tells us something about this world.
Yeah.
The sparse wasteland and then the sandstorm, all of these things that are technically within other camps, but they tell us a story of this world and what it is and where it might go.
Yeah. I think you could be right.
Character.
Yeah. And it is a 10.
There's got to be a 10.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And they're so in it. they're so well thought out and fleshed out. And I mean, like, even the people who you think might be entirely ignored by the film, the sort of 5... There's a word. I don't want to use the word the film uses for them. The ladies. The women who are being escorted to safety.
Yes.
Hostages.
You weren't going to call them brides.
I thought it was a disgusting sort of Mad Maxy name for them. Just
they are wearing chastity belts.
Yeah.
Like, it is quite a disgusting setup.
Oh, I remember what they call them. Breeders.
Oh,
or something like that. That's the word I was not going to say. So I'm glad that I said it. Those characters could have so easily been like entirely bland. And in fairness, they don't get like all the attention that they maybe need in the film because there's so much else going on. But the attention does makes them distinct characters with distinct characteristics.
They are all distinct.
Yeah.
What an achievement.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in this world, they're all such interesting characters.
Yeah.
They're all so compelling. They're all so well-rounded.
Yeah.
Some of them more than others. Like, they just... The characters are all so unique, so interesting. They fit in this world so perfectly. And, you know, they are caricatures.
Yeah.
But that's what they would become. That's people are driven to extremes.
Yeah.
It's be the most extreme version of yourself
Yeah.
in this world or cease.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Everyone's crazy in a good way. And I think
Yeah.
this film benefits really from actually having another not crazy person in Furiosa.
Yeah.
It makes him feel, you bring into question his morals.
Yeah.
Because he seems a bit jaded and a bit too harsh and a bit too selfish, because you've got another normal person there. When it's just him interacting with like the craziest, the Immortan Joes and the War Boys.
The War Boys.
If it was just Max and the War Boys and Immortan Joe, you'd be like, yeah, kill them all. You know?
Yeah.
You're like, you're the only vaguely normal person here. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
But having actual normal people with him means that when they're in the rig, he's the craziest person. He's actually... This is Maximilian.
Yeah.
This is him at the maddest.
Yeah. Production.
So this is a difficult one for me to rate. That's a 10.
Yeah.
It's a 10 out of 10. This is one of the best produced films I've ever seen. Everything about it. I mean, you already said it, but like the color, the visuals, the music, how it's all edited.
Yeah.
And then the effects.
Well,
the fact that they're like practical and CGI blend in such a way. I mean, everyone would be raved at the time about it being like, it's all practical, it's incredible. It's obviously not. There's so much CGI. But they blended it so well. It's just one of the best produced films I've ever seen.
And the soundtrack, that is the big thing that let me down in Thunderdome.
Yeah.
I love that there's diegetic music in this. That guitarist the whole time, so fun. I'm pretty sure there's like drumming in the Citadel and stuff like that. And it's sort of going back to those like earliest forms of communication. So, okay, what is passed down? It's songs, it's rhythms, it's things like that. And it's getting back to society at its most basic level. And it's like, how do you fire people up? Just have a guy there playing an electric guitar that shoots fire out of it constantly. So that just, every time they'll go from like a quiet scene where like they're just sort of waiting around, nothing's going on, the guitarist is asleep, boom, a thing happens, he's up, he's playing guitar straight away. Yeah. He's in.
That's what I do. I'm fast asleep and then a bang happens and I go, Mad Max is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible movie. Yeah, it just is one of the best produced films of all time.
I agree. This has set a standard that has not been met.
Rewatch.
Yeah.
What are we saying? Rewatch.
This is like 10. I feel like doesn't even do it justice.
No.
This is, I think, the most rewatchable film I've ever seen.
Yeah. So you bought it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Now, and that's going to be.
I've had like 3 films bought.
Yeah.
Goldfinger, inexplicably. Love Actually, which I accidentally bought when trying to watch for free.
Yeah.
And then this.
Yeah.
This is the first one on purpose.
Brilliant. I mean, just any journey ever.
Yeah.
And what a way to make a car trip feel more exciting.
Well, when we watched this last night, I was about to fall asleep. And then he shook me awake and said, "We've got to watch this." But I sat there on the sofa, sort of in this position.
Yeah.
Eyes barely open.
Yeah.
And I stayed awake.
We barely spoke.
It kept me... I just sat there and watched it and then went, right, bedtime.
Yeah.
But it kept me awake for 2 hours longer than my body wanted to be. Because it was so watchable.
I mean, I said it at the top of this video. It's a 10 for me, obviously. We watched it as a treat.
Yeah.
Because it's a treat to watch.
If you like any part of it, you like all of it.
Yeah.
The film is one thing. So especially for some people, it might be a 0 out of 10 if they hate it.
Maybe.
Can't imagine that person exists. But if they do, it's a 0 out of 10 for rewatch because there's only one thing it does.
I can't imagine that person exists and did watch this movie.
Yes.
I feel like this movie tells you what it is enough that nobody's watching it expecting something different.
Even just the title.
Yeah.
If you see Mad Max Fury Road.
It's got the words mad and fury in it. Yeah. Like, if you're not expecting high octane, what?
I love this film.
Even take out the other words, Max Road. Does this film have the M factor?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's a 10 for
10.
me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's nothing more to be said. It's the same as the other Mad Maxes, like in terms of it brings everything they brought.
Yeah.
And it just pumps it up.
Yeah. One of the things that really, really ups the M factor for me is that it's, and I said it earlier, but it's clearly the film that he wanted to make. And that's so exciting to see.
Yeah.
Of like, it's just actually what he wanted. And you see that from having seen the others. And it's such a great film. And it's just being like, this is perfect. Don't mess with it. Like, literally, no notes.
Yeah. I've got the scores here, right?
Yeah.
97% from critics.
Wow.
I know, so low, right?
Yeah.
But no, that's great, because there are so many critics that hate action films.
That's 100% from critics, because there are so many critics that are just idiots.
Yeah. There'll be 3% that hate action, are contrarian.
You know, those 3% view themselves as the 3%. Like, they actually think that they're the 1%, and they're so furious that there's another 2% out there.
If they were so furious, I thought they might have
really
enjoyed
this.
it.
Imagine coming out of this movie and being like, oh, it's rubbish.
Okay, audience score 86.
86.
Again, it's so
right.
high. We did this with 2 as well. I think they had the same score. But I think that means the highest one is the first one from audience.
Thought you were going to say Beyond Thunderdome. I was ready to have a heart attack. I was like,
it is.
No!
It is 89, 86, 86, 49.
Yeah.
With the scores.
Yeah.
And you know which ones are which though. But yeah, it's incredible. It's so well reviewed. Everyone loves it. Apart from the general population, because this film lost money. It lost 20 to 40 million, around that.
So it's been 9 years to get another one. And that's why, I'm assuming.
But it felt like everyone saw it at the time.
Yeah, I feel like everyone was talking about it.
Maybe we were slightly in a bubble of 16-year-old boys.
We were.
So it got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
In an expanded lineup, admittedly, but it still got nominated by the Academy, and that's a ridiculous thing in 2015, 2016.
And it launched Tom Hardy of really into the superstardom that he's in now.
Yeah.
Of like, he now has the ability to, you know, the Venom movie that's coming out, he's been able to just call the shots on that.
Yeah.
He's been allowed to Edward Norton that whole film.
Yeah.
Like, and this film is one of the things that does that.
Yeah.
It brought Charlize Theron really into focus for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We were saying that it's the first film that we've seen her in.
Yeah.
But she's an incredible actor. And her depth is really on full display here.
Yeah.
Everyone's so great in this.
Yeah. And I'm glad you think that, because they were trying to make this in 1997 originally.
Right.
With Mel Gibson as Older Max,
and
with Sigourney Weaver as Furiosa.
Good casting.
Good
casting.
Yeah. So, they obviously didn't do that, because that film doesn't exist. They tried again in 2007. It seems like this took forever to make. Like, they've been this
was in production hell.
Yeah, for 15 years or something.
Yeah.
So they tried in 2007, didn't quite work. 2010 is when it technically started. Like not like they'd started it, stalled it, did this and that. They actually started in 2010. Tom Hardy signed on in 2010, and they filmed it in 2011. So talking about how young they were, they filmed it 4 years before release.
So it's even more impressive of when it was made.
Yeah. It was such a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took that long.
Yeah.
The reason he tried in 2007 was, I think he got some clout after Happy Feet. So was trying to get some people to finance
It's really funny that the first ever like George Miller film that I saw in cinemas was Happy Feet 2.
Yes, yeah.
Because I watched that at the cinema. It's so funny that George Miller, the director, is Babe, Pig in the City, Happy Feet 1 and 2, and also Mad Max Fury Road. Beyond Thunderdome, the missing link between those films really, really is.
Yeah.
It's so good. So he got that Happy Feet clout.
Happy Feet clout and then turned it into Fury Road.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, the film took forever to shoot.
Yeah.
And apparently it took forever to edit. So they had a finished footage like sent to the editor, which I think was his wife. She had 470 hours of like footage to go through to cut together. And it took her 3 months just to watch it. George Miller said that he wanted her to edit it, a woman specifically, because he said if a man in his sort of age range edited it, it would have looked like any other action film.
Yeah.
But he wanted to make like such a boy sort of man-child movie in filming it, and then hand that over to someone who is not that to cobble it together into something that it is, which is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and also Furiosa is kind of our lead, really. So Mad Max sort of becomes the fish out of water almost in this, because Furiosa knows the world that they're in, like this specific bit,
and it'd be interesting
corner
to see
of the universe.
If that was always the intention, or if it was edited that way.
Yeah,
because obviously you've no idea. Like, this could have been a 5-hour film with all the scenes shot.
Yeah,
that they've cut down to something better.
She might have just cut out every other Max line.
Yeah,
because he doesn't speak much. She might have just been like, "Oh God, he's in it again."
The other people in contention for Max, we were quite lucky here, were Armie Hammer and Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Another person floated around was Eminem. I don't think it was ever like that serious. Like the final three were Jeremy Renner, Armie Hammer, and Tom Hardy.
Gosh, we did luck out
there. Good choice. Good choice. So this film also shot in sequence, which I think is even more impressive.
That is even more impressive.
Because it was easier to do that in the past, I imagine, in the 80s and the 70s. But in 2015 or
2011 when they filmed it,
that's just not how you do it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron really didn't like each other on set. Apparently they've made up afterwards, but everyone had such a horrible time on, because they were in the desert.
Yeah.
George Miller apparently was terrible at communicating what the film was going to be about.
Well, he didn't know. He was waiting for his wife to tell him.
Yeah. So they were just. It's not the first George that's had that happen.
No. This is the second George that their wife saved it in the edit.
Yeah, but I guess they were just like in a car in like 50-degree heat or whatever.
Yeah.
And then George Miller was like, "Right, say this line," and then they were like, "But what does that even mean? Where are we going?
Yeah.
Who's the bullet farmer?" And like, because it was all action, and most of the scenes were just them like pointing or shooting or doing whatever, and they had to film it 500 times. They just had no idea what was going on. They thought the film was going to be terrible. They were like, right, I've signed up for a box office flop, and I'm spending like 9 months of my life filming this in the desert.
To be fair to them, it was a box office flop.
That's true, actually. That's true. But they thought it was going to be terrible, ruin their career, whatever. And then until they saw the film, they just thought it was they just forgot it out of their minds, I suppose. They finished in like the end of 2011, and then 3 years passed, and they just went.
Well, they went and made 2 other movies. Probably.
Yeah, they were like, I'm glad that's not coming out.
Yeah.
And then it did, and then at that point they like apologized to George Miller and went, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. You've made me look incredible.
Yeah, this is the best film I've ever been in.
This is maybe the best film I'll ever be in. Yeah.
The old women in this film did their own stunts.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Love that for them.
And then the only other facts I have about it, it's not really a fact, I just liked it, is the Japanese title for this film translates to Mad Max, Death Road of Anger.
Yes! Can I change the title to that, please?
Death Road of Anger.
Oh. Bit of trivia that you haven't got.
Yeah.
Who plays Immortan Joe?
The toe cutter.
Yeah, how good is that? Because, so, watching Mad Max, I was like, this toe cutter guy, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I've got to see another film with him in.
Yeah.
And I looked at the credits, and it was like, it's Immortan Joe.
Yeah. I forgot this from the first one. He would change his accent from scene to scene in Mad Max 1 just to make him seem crazy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Let's ask the question that nobody doesn't know the answer to.
Yep.
Is this a watch or not?
Yes.
It's a definite watch.
Yes.
This is a must watch.
And also then, what do you watch? What's your final saga?
Yeah, so what's your suggested watch through? And let's give, because I want to give 2 answers.
Yep.
Watch them all. if you like Mad Max, watch them all.
Yeah.
If you like action movies, if you saw Fury Road and enjoyed it, watch them all. Watch them in quick succession.
Yeah.
If you just want to watch the best movies ahead of Furiosa, watch The Road Warrior and Fury Road.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I would say the same, as in only the second part. If you just want to catch up before Furiosa, in this order, Fury Road, Road Warrior, Thunderdome, as in hierarchy.
Oh, right.
Not watch through order. Start with the last one.
That's insane. They go to the first one and they go after that.
No. As in, if you have time for 1 film, make it Fury Road. 2 films.
Right.
Road Warrior. 3 films, Beyond Thunderdome. But
Yeah.
that's a gap between those two.
And for me, my caveat of like, here's my two lists, is that there are bits in Mad Max that you would miss out on if you didn't watch it, and there are bits in Thunderdome that you would miss out on if you didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But for what are the films that we can, in good conscience, wholeheartedly endorse, it's The Road Warrior and Fury Road. I'm so excited for Furiosa. I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not disappointed.
Well, I mean, so far, the odd number ones have been worse.
They have.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for Mad Max, The Wasteland.
Which I think was in the works. I think I saw an article about that.
Yeah, it's
so
in
that's
the
what you
works.
confirmed. Okay.
It's been greenlit. Yeah.
There you are. But a year before Fury Road, apparently.
Wait. It's set a year before Fury Road.
Yeah, no. It was 2014 it released. That's our next video.
I've seen it says, in the past.
Yeah.
Time travel doesn't come into these at all. Well, actually, it sort of does, because they have no idea what their timeline is. But there we are. I think that's all we have to say. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.